because it's a really good collaborative working and teamwork and partnership working. So just want to actually acknowledge the support that they obviously provide me as the local area commander. Also, it mentions in the report just the elements of how we process licensing. So we have internal governance structures, of which we have weekly licensing meetings that Sergeant Bellingham gives me updates in relation to information intelligence that has been received, and the licenses, the short-term licenses that we've got, which allows me to then add into the weekend policing plan to assist with directing my officers to do those checks, supporting the licensees, and also to be able to identify any issues, challenges, any criminal activity, offences, and then we take robust action. So one thing I wanted to highlight was on page 88, which is the proactive visits that we do, and I think this is really important within policing, is that preventative approach, rather than always being so reactive. So there's been 953 proactive visits that have been done within licensed premises within the Clackmannanshire area within the reporting period. This is compared to 367 from the previous year. So I really want to emphasise that it's almost 3 times as many visits that we've done in relation to supporting the staff that are within those premises, but also to make those checks that make sure there's no offences. And I think it's just really important to have that visible police presence, which it prevents, in my opinion, any offences being conducted, and if they are identified, then they can be actually dealt with. So looking at the figures, I think that it really highlights, and I'm going to give you the figures from last year. So even just looking at the disorder, so in licensed premises within the Clackmannanshire area, there was 19 offences in this report period. Last year prior was 29. So it really identifies the importance of doing those preventative visits. Likewise, violent crime within licensed premises, the report period year is 38. The previous year was 56. So again, it really highlights the importance of that prevention. It's the same in relation to some of the other licensed premises. In total for assaults, so taking in total violent crime, 38 this reporting period, but it was 56 for the previous reporting period. So it really just emphasises the importance of the prevention work that we do, and the work that we do obviously the Clackmannanshire Council and colleagues within our licensing department. So just proposing the activity for the following year is to do lots of similar work, directing with the committee team officers and also my DABRI officers that are also stationed here, which is the Divisional Alcohol and Violence Reduction Unit that we've got staff here. To obviously still continue to do those preventative checks and then continue to work with partners within Clacks Council and then obviously the head licensing.
Okay, swap over.
I'm just going to say this.
I'm really bad at moving my head about. I thought it was me, so I just wanted to do the technology. So yeah, so really just doing a lot of similar work within the community. So any question? I think it is.
It's okay, it happens all the time.
Thank you. Many thanks for the report. The one figure I think that always raises the question when this report comes forward is the number of offences for consuming alcohol in a designated public place. I always find it to be tremendously low, given the one street in Alloa where consuming alcohol in public places is carried out on a daily basis, and the antisocial nature of that and how members of the public perceive that area in particular. And I just wonder what could be done to maybe increase the number of convictions that are in place for that, or maybe not necessarily convictions, a bigger deterrent for the, let's be honest, the same people who are there on a daily basis consuming alcohol.
No, thank you, Councillor, for your comment and observation. So I agree, it is very low. So that's obviously seen as a positive because it is low, but actually there are reports of antisocial behaviour within certain areas. So for us, it's preventative patrols, it's those high visibility patrols, but as you can imagine, if they see a high visibility police vehicle or yellow jacket, which we wear for our own safety, people tend to take action, and it's not always obvious for us to be able to then issue some of those offences.
Yeah, I have slight sympathy for the police, and I understand I've spoken to people about this numerous times. I think the only local order offence in Clackmannanshire is actually consume alcohol. They don't have an open container offence, which I think would make the job a bit easier for the police, because they could quite easily have an open container next to them. As it stands, as long as you don't see them consume it, and it's a conversation we've had at various times as to whether we would possibly have justification for adding in such a local condition into the bylaws. But I think again it would need probably a bit of time for yourselves as to how you guys perceived it. If you thought it would be of benefit to officers who are on patrol, is it frustrating for them to walk past and see open alcohol containers there, knowing that it's potentially going to be consumed as soon as they're away? You know, would it help if we had the open container bylaw rather than just consume? So I do want that something with regards to how difficult the detection is, because if you don't see them consume it, there's really nothing you can do. So, no, many thanks for that.
No, thanks, Councillor, and I would be happy for myself and my team to have a conversation about whether or not a change in the bylaws would be of assistance to actually us tackling that antisocial behaviour within the area. So, more than happy to address that.
Thank you.
Well,
It's the same thing I was speaking about. I see it every day in work. I work in Shilling Hill. And it's the same corner every single day. The older people are scared to come near the stores because of it. And it's every single day. It's not just one-offs. It's every single day. It's the same people.
as I said, the same area as the rest.
No, thanks, Councillor, and likewise have a conversation about specific areas and about whether or not changing the bylaws would assist you. Happy to have that conversation with both of you and any other councillors that would have any discussions.
Yeah, it's certainly an area of concern to myself. As one of the local members, I do know the area you're talking about, and there was a community council meeting just recently, and I was finding some horrific stories about people having stuff dropped on top of them from the vehicle, just dropped out the window. People emptying bins out the window. Now that might be okay for the person in the house, because he keeps their house nice and tidy. It doesn't do much for the person having to be walking down the road being struck by whatever been thrown out. So, yeah, antisocial behaviour in our is getting out of control. There is no doubt it's getting out of control. And it's something that needs to be, we had a brief discussion earlier when we talked about the proactivity. And they have to be proactive, but it has to be a joined up approach. It's no sense in just one part of it, they deal with it, basically focus on elsewhere. Our town centre is one area of concern. There are many areas of concern across Clackmannanshire, but I believe that if we do tackle the area of the major area of concern, will send the message out that collectively we're not prepared to put up with it. But
Aye, that bit in Shilling Hill is ridiculous. As I said, it's every single day. It's the same people. They just dump the rubbish behind the hedges and they're in the stores stealing. It's ridiculous. And we had an incident a while ago and we pressed the emergency button twice and we still had to phone 999 because nobody can do it.
another concern I do have from the report is, unfortunately, again, a case of a person buys a tipsy by alcohol for a child. Not a young person, for a child. Why would anyone buy alcohol for a child? I mean, it's something that is just I just don't get the reasons for it. Why would you be doing it? Why would we encourage children to drink? There are other ones there. We touched on the persons being assaulted while they're at work. I mean, in regards to, they don't send up there to go through the training and a wee addendum to the training. By the way, you may end up getting your face buttered in. It shouldn't be. It's a societal problem. It is a societal problem, and we have to deal with it.
No, I can agree with you more, Chair. It's the same for emergency workers. We don't sign up to get assaulted, so we are doing a lot of work with our colleagues, partners within class council, councillors, in relation to antisocial behaviour. Obviously, that alcohol use comes under the antisocial behaviour strategy, which is a joint strategy between class council and Police Scotland, is getting presented at the council meeting on Thursday. And then we have, obviously there's an action plan, but there'll be discussions about the governance side of how we report into the council, and then working with class council about how to actually tackle some of the antisocial behaviour across class, because it's not just class responsibility, it's not just Police Scotland's responsibility, it's all partners, so fire service, some of the third sector, and obviously we need the support of our social work colleagues as well in relation to why children are asking for alcohol, what support needs to be put in place, and have they got the correct care. So obviously we've got a full structure in place when people are identified, so that they can, if a vulnerable person's database process that feeds into social work, so that we can get all of those care packages in place. So I really understand everybody's comments, and just to reassure the board that there is work ongoing between Clacks Council and Police Scotland in relation to how we tackle antisocial behaviour, and obviously the alcohol and some of the offences that have been discussed within the report will be part of that action plan.
Okay. Thank you, James. Well, your lights are on. Okay. So we've been asked to note this report.
Another councillor, if I
Sorry.
I'm afforded the courtesy of a question as well. I normally am at this moment. I'm very conscious of the chief inspector. I'm also very conscious of the chief inspector's urgency to get away to other meetings that we've held at back today. I was just looking at the crime statistics. There's two things of interest. One, that there's a glaring obvious admission to maybe an explanation for it. It was by 2023, there was an individual in this area charged with supplying alcohol from licensed premises to a child or young person. That seems to be missing from the figure, section 103 offence. And the other one that is more of interest was my role in licensing and the creation and dealing with matters. The responsible person drunk whilst available on premises. I'm completely unaware of that, and historically I've been made aware of these types of things because it's very relevant to what I do next. I wonder if there's any more information, whether later I can be provided, or if it's just a simple matter that was so insignificant, or no, if you know what I mean, it resulted in a charge that had no further benefit to any further exploration later on.
Yeah, and that's by no means passing the buck. I came into licensing in May to replace Sergeant Malcolm May. This report I've obviously run from the period April 1st to 31st of March. So by no means am I passing the buck here. The majority of this report has been filed and produced by Sergeant May. In relation to obviously when you were talking about July, which we're now running with, and there's work ongoing with that, I can only take the assumption that the conviction for that didn't come through until, I believe it was the end of May. He was actually convicted, whether they were holding off putting in the report until the conviction, but either way still hasn't been the report. And I've certainly looked into the fact that there was the other one you were talking about, you not been on their team too, because I think as we've already seen from the Chief Inspector, we can't do this alone. Paul can't do his job alone. We need to be working together. And certainly, just prior to moving on, having just recently started in licensing, I can only thank the likes of Paul, my other colleague, partners at Falkirk and Stirling for the support and assistance in providing these to the community this call. You'll probably see it from yourselves, it's not the most straightforward legislation, it's not the most straightforward area probably of business for either of our organisations, but to get the support I'm getting from obviously the board as well has been ideal, newly started. So sorry, I think the definitive answer, Paul. I hope it provides some explanation why it may have been omitted from this report.
Paul, you happy? Okay,
Chair, one quick question. Somewhere when you read the report, I've scrolled down Innkeeper. I don't know if it's Operation Innkeeper or a software program, but so if you can tell us a little bit more about that.
No, thanks, Councillor. So Innkeeper is our system that we record all our licensed premises checks. So like they are shops that sell alcohol, including pubs, restaurants, etc. So that is the computer database that my officers would then title their visits, that would then pass to Sergeant Bellingham's team to be able to review and also identify any trends or any issues with licensees or any feedback. We record obviously cross-reference any crime report numbers as well, any vulnerable person database numbers, so that everything's correlated, so that Sergeant Bellingham's team can fully assess and report to Paul's team, where we can progress any offences should my officers not identify at any time.
I was going to say this in the comments in the report, but I appreciate this as an annual report. It'd be really useful if we could go back about 5 years just so we can identify trends in the figures. So when you're reporting next year, it'd be really useful to see these statistics that come and say the previous last. I would be so bold as even the report period 2018, but even if it's just the last 5 years, it'd be really useful so that we as a board can pick up the trends and some of these things. So for instance, aside from agreeing with my colleagues in field under reporting and our town centre, is a flag for us. The other thing is the number of attacks on emergency services is pretty shocking as well. But I'd like to see that trend, whether that's going up or down. The sense is it's going up. But if you want to say anything about that.
No, thanks, Councillor. So absolutely, even last year today, the figures are in the report. So I've also got last year's report and got those figures with me. So absolutely, we can for next year include last year today and a 5-year means average as well, like we do for our audit scrutiny report. So yeah, absolutely not an issue. If we could add that to the minutes, obviously just so that as a reminder to ourselves to obviously get that progressed. And I'm just looking at emergency workers. So
I think it's 47 cases. So that probably has got a London report as well.
so actually it looks the same as last year's.
42, sorry.
Yeah, so it looks the same as last year's, but yeah, absolutely we'll be able to get that information for the future reports.
well, as I say, I mean, it's actually a really good report, and it's a well presented report rather than a good report. If we've got a good report, there would be these things that we're talking about. I actually like the historically when these reports were brought over, it was very much a big holistic report and covered most of central Scotland. This one's concentrated on Clackmannanshire, and that's what we're interested in here as a board today, is to look at how these areas are, the incidents that are affecting us, the incidents that are affecting people out there, and what we can do about it. I'm glad to hear what you're saying in respect to there about just about working together and the need to work together. Because as I say, I mean, we're all part of the same machine. But one cog in that machine isn't working right. It's very flaky right now. So I definitely think there's lots of things that we can do. And if we can tackle the licensing issues that have come to the board and be a very robust in dealing with it, then that's got to be available to yourself and to the other services. The services do a fantastic job. We talked to everyone there about assaults on the emergency services. That's something we've got to deal with as well. You can't deal with that. And I think from the board perspective, you accept the answer to it.
I welcome the report, the importance of these reports is so that we do identify trends and we work together and tackle the issues. I think we've already said it, as a board we are concerned about public consumption of alcohol, particularly in alcohol, which I think we do feel has been underreported. I think the other issue I picked up was really which one assumes there's alcohol involved where emergency services or workers here, I don't really know what the definition is, but in total it's about 44, but we've got assault structure in there, remember the emergency service, and then you've got assault structure in there, an emergency worker. So it might be useful to have more of a sort of understanding of definition of what's going on there, because I realise that includes the ambulance service as well. But it does show on a day-to-day basis what the services are having to face, and that to my mind is unacceptable, and we need to try and find some way to tackle that in the public. And I suppose the other thing people might draw out is racial aggravation, which is getting more and more prevalent to be reported. So just from my point of view, is just understanding the trends is important. But just to thank the police and other services for the work that they do in supporting the licensing board. And of course, Paul, when we talked about this movable feast, about the supply of alcohol, which is more and more being delivered to people's doors, which is potentially another issue in mind. So some of the other issues that maybe aren't being reported here might be domestic violence, and whether there's other trends going on there that we should be looking related to alcohol and alcohol abuse. But aside from that, I'm happy for the report, and just to emphasise the purpose of these reports is so that we all do our job better and identify if there's any sort of key issues that are arising. So, yeah, thanks for the report.
Any other comments? Okay. You're excused.
Thank you so much.